Hi. Yin and yang. Just as I was waiting for the video to start, I never thought about this before, but I would think that breathing in is a yang experience and that breathing out is yin. And as I said in the note, there's no escaping the dualities. So a yin yoga practice and a yang yoga practice can be separate, but a really complete and well-rounded practice includes both yin, which is passive, internal, cooling, energy downward, and a yang practice is active, it's external, and it is warming, and the energy goes up. So the yin practice basically is an opportunity to release tight connective tissue, stiff joint. And you just can't do that by, you've got to hold it. And then with the yang practice, it's different because it's actually stimulating and building musculature and increasing blood flow and circulation to increase strength and flexibility, movement. So because this is a morning practice, we're going to start with yin, and then we're going to finish up with yang. And I want you to stick around too for Shavasana. We're going to do a body scan today. I always used to do these in class, but thanks to Virginia, one of my students at the Beach Rec, she said, Joey, is it possible to do a body scan? Absolutely, they're brilliant. Okay, so let's come on to our backs for our first part of our practice today, a yin practice. So lying flat on the floor, tilt your chin towards the center of your chest, lift your shoulder blades up and tuck them under. Inhale, in place, exhale. One more inhale and exhale. And remember, when your lips are together, we activate the vagus nerve. We talked about this last week. The vagus nerve is your permanent connection, brain to gut, where there's brain cells, more immune cells in your gut, anywhere else in your body. And having a strong immunity has never been more important to us. All righty, so let's bend our legs and place the soles of your feet on the outer edges of your mat. Take your arms out to the side, shoulder height. So both feet flat on the floor, your knees are bent, but your feet are on the edges of the mat. So half your foot may be on the mat and part of it off the mat. If you turn your palms up, well, then you're opening up the shoulder area. So that's probably a great idea right now. Let's open things up. Inhale, in place. Exhale, take both knees over to the left. Over to the left. And we're just going to spend a moment here. We're not going to windshield wipe. We're going to spend a moment observing what you are stretching. In this case, talk about connective tissue. The outside of that thigh, the IT band, the iliotibia band. Stretching the hip. Stretching also too, you're getting into the front of your thigh, into your quadriceps. Now, because we only have an hour class, don't worry, we won't be spending as much time as you might if you were in a yin yoga class. You might spend 3 minutes, even 5 minutes holding one posture. And I do encourage you to recognize that yoga is a tool that you have to use whenever you want, so that if you find yourself feeling completely worn out, exhausted, then you may want to do some yin, but you know what? If it's not bedtime yet and it's the middle of the day, you may want to do more of a yang practice, even your sun salutations, just to get some blood flow going. But if you've had a wicked day and you're getting ready for bed, and let's inhale the knees slowly back to center, come very slowly back to center. This is the other thing. After you've intensely stretched something, you don't want to snap it back. You want to gradually allow the muscles to change their length, and then slowly take both knees over to the right. So as I was saying, you've had a rough day, and maybe what you really need to do is to let go of some tension, some stress, some tightness. It's interesting, you know, we talk about something like sciatica. So both your knees are now over to the right, and put a little bit of pressure on that right, your left leg, because that's the one that's getting most of the stretch here. And just breathe into your left thigh. Now notice there may be a difference. You may be tighter, looser on one side or the other. And what I was saying about sciatica was, it's a symptom of another problem. So sciatica, has become the attention getter. It's become the symptom. It's got your attention that maybe your posture when you're sitting needs to be stepped up a little bit. And I know some of you are taking advantage of the sale of cushions from Good Things, Julia at Good Things. I told you the Runa, everything's 20% off right now. The Runa is just one of the most versatile cushions that I'm using as a meditation cushion. I'm using it to sit up straight in my chair, my computer, when I'm not at my kneeling chair. Inhale slowly, come back to center. And as I always say, I'm not suggesting you spend a nickel anywhere, but if you do, I want you to get great value and supporting a Canadian company. Let's take both knees once more over to the left, and pick up that left foot and ankle and place it on your right knee. And breathing into the right thigh, the right hip, maybe the right glute. There's a nice little stretch through the waist here. We're not quite into the lower back yet, but we will move there next. So much of our aggravation seems to originate in the lumbar area. So that's your lower back, the waist area, and the sacral iliac. So when we're not sitting tall and standing tall, along with the force of gravity, we're now jamming and compressing bones onto gelatinous discs that should be plump. And listen, aging, has an impact on it, but we can slow down the aging process. Can't stop it, but you can really slow it down when you understand what you're doing in yoga and practicing it. So take that foot off, and now once again, really slowly come back to center. If you feel you need to turn your palms down, if they were turned up, go ahead and do that. In fact, if you feel that you want to stretch your arms over behind your head, go ahead and do that. So my knees are in the center now. Let's take them one more time over to the right. They're over to the right. Pick up your right foot and ankle and place it on your left knee. So it's not so much about the upper body. So put your arms wherever it feels good, but obviously moving them into different positions when we're holding for so long with yin yoga. Bring some extra blood supply into the shoulder area. And remember, when we move our joints, yin yoga is about releasing stiffness from joints. But when we move them, as opposed to holding them in a stationary position, we lubricate them. We bring synovial fluid into our joints, and we need to do this. so that our joints work smoothly, so that our joints feel enlivened. Now, the other thing to notice about yin yoga is that your parasympathetic nervous system is activated. Your rest, digest, repair, and restore. So this is one of the ways we slow down the aging process, by resting, by restoring and rejuvenating ourselves. And then remove that foot, slowly, slowly, slowly come back to center, and slowly bring your arms into your side body. Okay, extend your legs down in front, stretching them out through your heels, stretched out through your heels. So flex your feet a lot, and hold them here. Flexing your feet in the lying down position with your arms beside your body. Now, when you're flexing your feet, I bet you can feel your plantar fascia. So that is that large connective tissue, fascia, on the sole of your foot. So we say we're stretching it. It really doesn't stretch much, but it still appreciates some TLC. All righty. And you can release that. Inhale, in place, exhale, draw the right knee up. Bring your fingers around your knee. And then with your left hand, take that knee over to the left and extend your right arm out to the right side. So we're going to hold this lower back twist. Now we're releasing tension from the connective tissue in the lower back, the hip, the glutes. You can feel this is different. Breathe into the area. Yoga is about creating space. Space in your body and space in your mind. So that when things are happening, we don't have to have a knee-jerk reaction to them. We can just be with them. Be aware, no judgment, no action. Your breath is still the greatest form of awareness in terms of making yourself present. So if you feel that you're drifting away sometimes, off into outer space, which is okay, but the great masters tell us there is no yoga without concentration. So being aware of what you're stretching, of what you're releasing. Again, if that side arm wants to do something else, maybe it even wants to reach up to the sky. I don't know. Just play. Are you noticing some release in that hip, in that thigh, in the lower back from the time that you started? Breathe into it. Breathe into it. Another 15 seconds here. Maybe your knee got closer to the floor because there was release in the lower back, release in the glutes. All of these muscles get so tight, especially when we sit a lot. And thanks to computers and screening devices, we end up sitting a lot more. Inhale, bring that knee back to center, rolling onto your back. And now bring the knee one more time in towards your chest. And then extend your leg, reaching up towards the calf, reaching up as far as you can. make it between the knee and the ankle. So don't grab at the knee. At least can you grab at least the calf, or if you can grab the ankle, and just pull a little bit here to lengthen the hamstrings. So when we do this, and the hamstrings, they are wily, they are tight, they just don't get much action, they don't get stretched. But they're seeing some action now. So breathe in. Breathe into those hamstrings. Keep a little bit of tension. Never do too much or too little. You can relax your foot here. You don't need to point or flex it. Just do a little bit of pulling. Keep a micro bend in the knee. It doesn't matter if your leg is straight here. We're focusing on the hamstrings. They take time, but they do release, lengthen. And because the hamstrings really impact the knee joint, the hip joint, and the lower back, when you release your hamstrings, you're probably going to have more space in all of these joints. More space, more softness, more room. And then release. And I want you to just slowly lower that leg down. Bring your arms by your side. So really slow, everyone. Really slow. You get to work your hip flexors, your quadriceps, your lower abs. How lovely. Over 600 muscles in the body, 206 bones, 33 joints. Actually, that's just in the ankle and the foot. Now, you may feel that that leg is longer than the other one. Let's do the other side. We don't want you to limp after class. Inhale, in place. Exhale, draw the left knee up. Having said that, a lot of us do have discrepancies in the length of our legs. Apparently, they're not completely symmetrical. Oh, okay, now place your right hand on the outside of your left knee and draw it over to the right side. So you're actually rolling onto your right hip, and you're keeping your hand on the outside of your knee with a little bit of tension, pressure, I guess is a better word, a little bit of pressure. Don't do too much. Pay attention. Breathe into the area. It will release. It will let go. Remember, relax comes from a Latin word that means to let go. So when we relax, we are letting go. When we relax our minds by focusing on our breath, our breathing, the ego says, whoa, this is so boring. Yeah, okay, fine. Your ego is not the smartest guy in the room. The ego just wants to be right. The ego doesn't even care about being happy, by the way. It honestly doesn't. And I know this one wonderful psychotherapist who I used to work with from Seattle, Washington, or better said, he worked with me. He always said, would you rather be right or happy? It's interesting. I know people who would rather just be right. Okay. I'd rather be happy. And I can let you be right for you. That's okay. Agreeing to disagree is what we need to do sometimes. Not just to keep peace outside of ourselves, more importantly, to keep peace within. Because that's where everything begins, and that's what really matters. More and more Western medicine has come around to the conclusion So that stress is behind 75. I'm reading now more like 90%. 90%. The gut microbiome that we talked about last week, I called it the new frontier of health. I listened to some really awesome lectures that were passed on to me by a doctor, a friend of mine. They were all about the gut and mental health. It was riveting. Just a reminder that last week's class, and as I said, you know, to take the classes again and again, to try and really get some of the ideas that I present. I can't give you too much information in an hour. It would just overwhelm you, but I want to broach these topics, and if you're interested in them, you can explore them as well, or, you know, ask me and I'll try and point you in directions to get help that you might want, or just to explore and learn a little more about these things. Okay. And we're going to release this. So release your hand, bring the knee into the center, bring your hands one more time around your knee, and then straighten your leg, reach up towards your ankle. Please keep your shoulder blades on the mat. Your shoulders are off the mat, but know the difference. Shoulder blades are on the mat. And let's pull that leg towards us. Keep your head also on the mat if you can. So stretching the hamstrings now on the left side, also getting into the descending colon. Oh, I ended up calling my colonic irrigationist last week, Mary Kay Paris. She is so interesting. I'm always learning from her. I guess I was talking about it last week because I mentioned, you know, we all have this impacted fecal matter that isn't doing us any favors, especially if our pants are getting tight around the waist or lower. I know that colonics are a little bit too much for some people. They would think, oh no, I can't do that. But I just want to say, a tech guy's weighing in here. No way. Rather have my fingernails pulled out. But, you know, depending on who you're working with, it's like you let go. Hey, listen, you go to a doctor and they do all kinds of things to us. Oh, my goodness. So guess what? Better to be proactive and not to have a doctor prodding you, and go to somebody and say, oh, yeah, you know, I'm not going to have to go to the doctor and have some of these goofy tests. Okay, lengthen your leg. Bring your arms down beside your body. And once again, I want you to slowly lower that leg down, super slow. I'm just almost at the halfway point. We're practicing yin. We'll get to the yang. But be yin. And as I also said, notice if you prefer one type of practice to the other. It's okay. There's no right or wrong or good or bad here. But sometimes it's interesting that we'll say, I don't feel like exercising. Well, wait, if you think about it, maybe you should think about exercising and stop feeling like you don't feel like it, because it's not about a feeling. Sometimes we should think about our feelings, because a lot of times our feelings aren't based in any logic whatsoever. So the saying is, don't trust your feelings, examine them, think about them. And also too, yes, you need to trust your feelings sometimes. But when you say, well, I feel like I want another piece of cake, oh, do you? Why? Well, I got this ache about something. Okay, let's draw the knees up into the chest. Aren't I being chatty Cathy today? Yes, okay, so draw the knees up to the chest. Your hands are underneath the backs of your knees, and I want you to rock up, and we're going to come over under our tummy for a moment, and we're just going to do some gentle back bends. These are really important. And yes, I did get a haircut. I got completely buzzed. I have no hair in the back of my head. I can't believe it. Anyway, miscommunication, but thank goodness it grows. So, Alrighty, so I want you to come into Sphinx pose just to start. So your elbows are underneath your shoulders and your forearms are straight out in front. And then, so this is nice, just a gentle curve. And we're doing this because this is, once again, a very proactive movement. And I've mentioned it before, but back bends preserve, protect, and maintain the integrity of your spinal alignment. The other reason I want to focus on a couple of gentle back bends also is because one of the problems in posture, especially when we're sitting, is that the lumbar area, so that's this area where your waist is in your back, right now it is concave, right? And that's what it should be. It should be concave. It should dip in. But a lot of the times when we're sitting, it's convex. You know, it's collapsed. I'm lifting my back up. It's rounded in the opposite and erroneous direction. So this is a reminder. If you're not able to sit up straight with space between the back of your chair and your lumbar area, put a cushion there. You can use your runa. If you're getting a runa, you'll be able to use your runa there, but just put something there. Find a cushion that works. It's your back, and you're not going to be happy if your back's not happy. You know that. So don't wait for it to get unhappy. Keep it happy. Okay. And then let's come back down. Place your forehead on your mat. Line up your fingertips with the edges of your shoulders. We're going to come into baby cobra, baby bhujangasana. Bring your elbows into your side body. Press your forearms down towards the floor. The tops of your feet are flat. Your toes are pointing backwards. Your hips and pelvis are pressing into your mat. Roll an invisible alley with your nose to lengthen your neck. And on an inhale, let's slowly lift up. Lifting head, neck, shoulders, chest. Breathing, we won't be holding this as long as the other positions. And we will be doing a nice release for this. So baby cobra would actually be a little more yang in terms of what it does, because it's strengthening muscles, it's sending extra blood supply. But I just wanted to focus a moment on the integrity of this lower back area. One more breath in. And exhale, lengthen, come all the way down. Okay, press yourself up. And let's come into that favorite restorative posture of modified child's pose. Spread your knees wide apart. Bring your big toes together. Keep the tops of your feet flat as they were. Slowly press your buttocks back towards your heels. This helps to avoid cramping in the feet or anywhere else when we go slowly. And then release your torso between your thighs. Now, remember, if this is an issue for knees, if you have knee issues, fold over your mat if you need to, or put a little towel underneath and come into puppy pose instead, so that you're on your knees, your butt is still in the air, and you're lowering your torso, your forehead to the floor. You may wish to support your forehead in either position, adding height with your forearms. So people with knee issues typically don't want to bend their knees more than 90 degrees. If you don't have knee issues, you can assume
this modified child's pose. And now you can see that your lower back is not concave. It's more convex. And that's okay, we're stretching it out here. If your forehead can rest on the floor, have your arms reaching out in front. And remember to breathe long, full, and deep into your back and side ribs. 70% of the motion and action in breathing takes place in the back and the side ribs. By breathing with your lips together, you're activating your vagus nerve. Inhale, come on up. Draw the knees together, curl the toes under. Lift your hips up. And let's just gently walk the dog. We're going to transition now slowly into our yang portion of the class. So as you walk your dog slowly, just feel the stretch in the backs of your lower legs. We stretched the upper part of the back leg. Now we're stretching the lower part. A little bit the upper, but mostly the back of the knee, the calf, and the Achilles tendon. Those of you who are going to be doing indoor racket sports, you for sure want to be stretching these out. Please relax your neck. Give it a bit of a swing. Okay, walk your hands or your feet towards your hands and let your head hang. Just hang out here. Oh yeah. Uttanasana. Interesting. Uttanasana almost sounds like an onomatopoeia, which is the word that means a word sounds like what it is, although moist is a better example, okay? Moist sounds like what it is, but for me, Uttanasana, maybe just because I've said it so many times and I like hanging like this and upside down like this. And let's keep your knees bent, of course. Slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time. Keeping your chin tucked into your chest, and your head is the last thing to come up. Okay. So let's just remind ourselves when we're coming up into the front of our mats about Tadasana. Really important here, once again, for posture. Lift your toes off the floor. Feel your big toe mount, your baby toe mount, center front of your heel, pressing through the earth. Lower your toes, lifting up on your kneecaps to engage your thighs. Lift your sternum away from your pelvic floor. This even helps to get that curve happening in your lumbar area. And then bring your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lower your arms, pull your armpits down. Feel how this gives you a longer neck. And reach up through the crown of your head. And then if you turn your palms outwards, you've rotated, externally rotated, your humerus, arm bone, upper arm bone, and then you can bring your palms back, but this keeps your shoulders open. So just remember this when you're standing. I mean, you don't have to be stiff, you need to breathe and all that, but just remind yourself from time to time, what is perfect posture? I think we need the reminder. I think there's so much weighing down on us these days, including gravity, which that'll always be there, otherwise we float away. But there's so much that I think it's more important and incumbent that we maybe even line up against the wall at some point in the day and just check in and then walk away from the wall feeling tall. All right, here we go. Let's yang it up here. Ready? Inhale, in place, exhale, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart, reach your arms up, look up, reach up and arc back. We should be all nicely warmed up from that yin practice. Inhale, lift out of your waist. Exhale, forward fold. Reaching forward as you fold. Fingertips need to be on the floor, so bend your knees if you need to, and then step your right leg back and drop your knee to the mat. Bring your hands onto your left thigh. You can keep the knee on the floor, but if you're taking it off the floor, focus your gaze for balance. Press through your right heel to anchor your pose, and then inhale, sweep the arms up, keeping in mind that U, the U shape. It starts around where your lower back and your middle back meet. Keeps your rib cage in, keeps your shoulders down, turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart, bring them onto the mat, take that front leg back, draw your heart center towards your thumbs. Yum. Remember, you have the option to place your knees on the floor if you need to, and then cross your feet at the ankles. If you're in plank or push-up position, engage your core. Release your knees to the floor, flatten the tops of your feet, leave your hands where they are, take your buttocks way back, and then slowly stay nice and low. Bring your chest and your chin onto your mats. And then slide everything out behind you. Line up your fingertips with the edges of your shoulders. Your forehead is on the mat. Bring your elbows into your side body. Make sure you flatten the top of your feet so your toes are pointing backwards. Press your forearms down to the floor. Roll an invisible alley with your nose. Inhale. Come on up into baby cobra. Or maybe you feel like pressing up into the fuller expression at this point. Your choice. Exhale, come on all the way down. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up, walk your feet a few inches forward, bend your knees, press your belly onto your thighs, your chest towards your knees, pressing all 10 fingers into the mat. Now press your heels towards the mat. Feel that stretch in the backs of your legs. Lift your right leg up, look at your right hand, swing that foot as far forward as you can. If it doesn't go as far as you like, pick it up at the ankle, move it forward, other leg forward, standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Engage your thighs by lifting up on your kneecaps, pull your bellies in, bring your arms right beside your ears like a stick person. Sweep arms up, feet apart for balance, reach up, look up, and arc back. Inhale, bring the feet back together, lift up out of your waist. Exhale, forward fold, and then bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, bring your hands into prayer in front of your chest. And let's do another round. Inhale, exhale, hands in prayer. 2, step your feet apart, arms up, reach up, look up, and arc back. Inhale, bring your feet back together, lift out of your waist. Exhale, forward fold, let your heads hang, don't hold them. Step your left leg back, drop the knee to the mat, bring your hands onto that front knee. If you're taking your back knee off the floor, do so now. Keep your shoulders directly over your hips, and then inhale and sweep the arms up. And breathe. So we're doing these a little more quickly because we're going to do 4 rounds of these. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart, take that front leg back, draw your heart center towards your thumbs, or bring your knees to the floor if you find this is too difficult. Engage your core. If you're in your plank posture, pull your rib cage together. You're reaching through the crown of your head forward, feeling strong, feeling active, feeling dynamic. Release your knees to the floor. Toes are pointing backwards. Flatten the tops of your feet. Leave your hands where they are. Take your buttocks way back. Release your forearms and elbows to the mat and slowly come down, placing your chest and your chin on the mat. And then slide everything out behind you. Line up your fingertips with the edges of your shoulders. You may want to take your feet a little wider apart if you're thinking to do the fuller expression of cobra, or by all means stay with baby cobra. But make sure that your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders stay in alignment, whichever you're doing. Roll an invisible alley with your nose to lengthen your neck on an inhale, lifting up. So in baby cobra, your hands aren't doing the work. In the fuller expression, you're pushing the floor away from you. Most of us will not be able to straighten our arms without losing the integrity of your shoulder position. One more inhale, exhale, lower and lengthen. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up, walk your feet a couple of inches forward, bend your knees, press your belly to your thighs, press your chest to your knees, relax your neck. Let your head hang between the arms so that your ears are lining up with your inner arms. And now exhale. As you exhale, lengthening your spine, pressing sits bones towards the back wall and pressing heels towards the floor. Feel that stretch through your body. Feel the energy flowing through your body. This is a very dynamic and energizing posture. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up, look at your left hand, swing that foot as far forward as you can. Other leg forward. Let your heads hang. Uttanasana. Bring your arms beside your ears. Engage your thighs. Pull your belly in to protect your lower back. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Feet apart for balance. Reach up, look up, and arc back. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands in prayer. One more round on each side. Inhale, exhale, hands in prayer. 2, feet apart, reach up, look up, and arc back. 3, inhale, lift up, exhale, forward fold. Step your right leg back, drop the knee to the mat, bring your hands onto your left thigh, lifting that back knee off the floor if you want. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Turn your palms forward, bring your hands to the mat, take the other leg back. You're in your plank position. Breathe, engage your core. Don't let your belly hang. Don't let it sag. Maybe your bum's poking up in the air. That's okay. Release your knees, flatten the tops of your feet, leave your hands where they are as your buttocks sink back towards your heels, and then slowly come forward. Chest and chin on the mat. Slide everything out behind you. Line up your fingertips. Lower your forehead. Elbows into the side body. On an inhale, roll an invisible alley, pressing up into baby or the fuller expression of cobra, whatever your lower back needs today. One more inhale here. Exhale, lower down. Curl the toes under, lift the hips up, walk your feet a couple of inches forward. Press your belly to your thighs, press your chest to your knees, spread your fingers apart. And on an exhale, lengthening your spine, sits bones towards back wall, press your heels towards the floor, breathe. Inhale, lift the right leg up, look at your right hand, swing that foot as far forward as possible. Other hand forward and let your head hang. Inhale, sweep the arms up, feet apart for balance, reach up, look up, arc back. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, hands in prayer. Last round, one more. I'm sure some of you are going, rah, tech guy, you're not doing this. Inhale, exhale, come on, do one round. Step your feet apart, arms up, reach up. He's Kafka. We're going to get into this one day. I'm Pitta. I'm going to send out a little survey to all of you. It's coming before the end of this session, so you'll know what dosha you are. You're going to go dosha what? Okay, let's step the left leg back this time. Drop the knee to the mat. Bring the hands onto your right thigh. You can keep your knee on the floor. That's just fine. And inhale the arms up. But if you want to, take the knee off the floor. Keep the torso straight up and down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, turn the palms forward, coming into your plank, your push-up position. Yay. Oh boy, turn the camera around. If you think you're struggling, okay, release your knees, flatten the tops of your feet. Send the buttocks back, leave the hands where they are, slowly come forward, chest and chin on the mat. Slide everything out behind you. Line up the fingertips with the edges of your shoulders, elbows into your side body. Roll an invisible alley, pressing up into your version of Bhujangasana. And from here, curl the toes under, lift up into downward facing dog, walking your feet a couple of inches forward, bend your knees so your belly's on your thighs. Press your heart towards your knees. Press all 10 fingers into the mat, and now lengthen your spine, sits bones to back wall, heels to floor. Feel that stretch. Yay. Lift your left leg up, look at your left hand, swing that foot as far forward as possible. Other leg forward, let your head hang. Pull your navel in towards your spine, engage your thighs, bring your arms right beside your ears. Inhale, sweep up, feet apart for balance, reach up, look up, arc back. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side. Exhale, bring your hands in prayer. Now, I want you to lie down for a moment. Even though this would not be considered something they would let you do, I'm too steeped in Shivananda to not say lie down for a moment in Shavasana. Take a sip of water if you need it. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit further about a couple of issues. Could be in your tissues. So just lie down for a moment, turn your palms up, bring your heels together, let your feet splay out. So noticing whether or not you prefer one practice to the other. It's possible that in life we will resist what would be good for us. I know I do. It may not be so much in physical exercise. It may be in other areas of my life. It could be with diet. It can be anywhere that we resist. So just to notice, it's not about to make yourself bad or wrong. I mean, and as I say, when we discover our doshas, and our doshas really apply to your constitution. So some people just don't like quick movements, and other people are jerky. They're like, everything's jerky. Everything's like, you know, some people aren't even on the ground. They're floating in air. So there are three. It'll be really interesting when I find what I feel is a reasonable survey to send out to you so you can figure out what your dosha is. So nice deep breathing. And the other thing I want you to do right now is just while you're there, that your breath is starting to normalize, will you please place your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your belly? And just notice what's rising more, the chest or the belly. And if you happen to be sitting like me or tech guy, just notice which one is breathing, is moving more. So now that you've figured out which one is moving more, let me tell you something. If the chest is moving the most, you're giving yourself the least amount of oxygen. You're not giving yourself and breathing in as much air as you could be to give your body as much energy as you probably need to get through your day. So just to notice that, you want your belly to be moving more than your chest. In fact, I don't even care if your chest moves, but this is really important. It's really about activating the diaphragm. So you need to breathe beyond your chest, lower into your diaphragm, filling up the lobes of the lung. And then yoga, of course, helps us expand the capacity, your lung capacity, by stretching the muscles and connective tissue around the area. Okay, let's get up to finish this yoga practice, this part of the yang practice. So bring your knees into your chest, bring your hands underneath the backs of your knees, rock up and come on over onto your knees, curl your toes under, let your head hang and slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Okay, so come on up to the fronts of your mats. Let's step the left leg back. Let's spread the feet apart about at least a good railroad tie, maybe 2 railroad ties, so that your front foot is pointing 90 degrees forward and your back foot about 60 degrees. Bend your front knee, inhale and sweep the arms up. Warrior 1. Take your arms behind your back, interlock your fingers, keep your front knee bent and your back leg straight. Inhale, look up, lift your hearts. Exhale, forward fold, coming into humble warrior. Let your head hang. Release your arms. Try to straighten your front leg. If you need to, bend your back leg, but try to straighten your front leg. And now bend your front leg again. Inhale, sweeping up, coming up into warrior 1 again. Now, walk that front foot back into the center of your mat and turn your body sideways and walk your back foot back. Have a look at the heel of the front foot, bisects the arch of the back foot. Bend that front knee. Your feet need to be wide apart, coming into warrior 2. Lower your back arm down your back leg, reaching up for peaceful warriors. Come back into warrior 2. Bring your front elbow onto your front forearm. Bring your back arm in front of the body and then reach it over your head. Coming into Parsvakonasana, side angle bend. Release your front elbow to straighten it and then straighten your front leg, coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So now both your legs are straight. Inhale, come on up into the center. Turn your feet so you're sideways on your mat now. Sideways, spread your legs wide apart. Wide apart. Exhale, forward fold. Walk your hands over to the right foot. So I'm not doing the mirror image with you. I'm going to the right foot first. You're going to your right foot because we're squeezing here the ascending colon, and inhale, lift the right arm up, twisting and turning. Exhale, float it down. Walk your hands over to your left foot. Now we squeeze and compress the descending colon. Let's lift the left arm up, reaching and stretching. Bring your arms down. Let's turn that left foot now 90 degrees. You're turning to the other end of your mat now. Bring your back foot slightly forward, point it 60 degrees, front foot is 90 degrees, bend your front knee, inhale, sweep up, coming into warrior 1. Warrior 1, back right leg is straight, front left leg bent. Bring your arms behind your body, interlock your fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades together, inhale, looking up at the ceiling, exhale, lead with your hearts, lift the arms up, forward fold, humble warrior. And then release the arms to the floor. Try to straighten that front leg as much as you can. You may need to bend the back leg, but try to straighten that front leg. But now bend the front leg. Inhale, come back up into warrior 1, and let's transition into warrior 2. So you're going to need to walk your front foot into the center of the mat and take your back foot a little further back. Remember, when you're in warrior 2, or anytime that front knee is bent, make sure you can see your big toe inside of your knee. And then lower your back arm down your back leg. Reach your top arm up, stretching, looking. Exhale, come back to warrior 2. Let's come into our side angle bend. Place your front forearm on that front knee. Take your back arm and sweep it in front of your body, and then reach it over your ear and blossom your chest out to the side, reaching and stretching. And then straighten your bottom arm and bring your top arm straight up, and then straighten your bottom leg. Come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. And then inhale, come on back up into the center. Feet are wide apart. Forward fold, halfway. Fingertips on the floor, tented just below your face. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. Twist, turn, reach up, stretch up, look up. Exhale, float it down. Inhale, sweep the other arm up, reach up, stretch up, look up. Exhale, float it down. Let's lunge over to the left and then over to the right. Walk your feet in and bring yourself flat out on your mats, flat out and relaxing. Come on down onto your mats. Don't miss this part. This is important. Okay, we're done with yang. So, if you need to cover yourself up, please cover yourself. Lengthen your legs down in front, bring your heels together, let your feet splay out. Tuck your shoulder blades under. Reach your arms, fingertips towards your feet. Tilt your chin towards the center of your chest to lengthen the back of your neck. Close your eyes. Let your eyeballs float into their sockets. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax the jaw. Relax your lower back. And let your body be soft and heavy. As I name the body part, locate it, silently command it to relax 3 times, no movement. Feet, calves, thighs, hips and pelvis, abdomen, diaphragm, chest, collarbones and shoulders, upper arms, lower arms, hands and fingers, backs of thighs, hamstrings, buttocks, lower back, middle back, adrenals and kidneys, upper back and shoulder blades, neck, jaw, lips and tongue, eyelids and eyeballs, forehead, scalp, brain. We've taken your body through a complete yin, yang, yoga practice and ending it with yin, ending it with a state of calm alertness while we allow the benefits of our performance to be integrated into our bodies, which are connected with our mind.
Happy body, happy mind, calm mind, calm body. It's all connected. It's all good. As long as we focus on what is good rather than what isn't. As always, it's my pleasure and my honor to share this practice with you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.